This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
The CEO and founder of 360 Secure Corp. Please welcome back Thomas Gerstenecker. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kicking it, man. I'm doing like a working vacay because I'm in Muskoka right now. We're very blessed to have a family cottage, and my wife is due on September 14th, so I'm gonna need to take a little bit of time there. So I'm kind of enjoying the days up at the family cottage, and then but I'm still getting into work. So like I'm doing it, but it's a little easy going. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fun.
Beautiful. I love it. Muskoka is an awesome place.
Oh man, well, anytime you want to come up and go for a little fish, I'd love to take you out on the lake. Whereabouts are you right now?
I'm in the Ottawa area.
Excellent. So home to you, I know, and lots going on with the company. One of the things that I love, and I think it's often not talked about, not only enough in the cannabis space, but just in any sort of new company or any growing company, is the amount of support it does for helping find jobs for people. And in a day and age where, we're always focused on making sure that employment rates are low and people are working and getting good wages and being hard work, you guys are tweeting out left, right, and center, you need security guards. That's how quick you're growing. How does that work?
Yeah, that's one of the really great things setting this up. I mean, having in the last 20 months, we had about 8 staff, and now we're pushing almost 700 20 months later. That's a lot of people in a short period of time. So it creates a lot of opportunity. We're headquartered out of Almont. We have facilities across Canada, but it's really great to be able to hire somebody that lives down the road, local, provides employment. There's nothing better. I love it. I love it.
So, and how does it work for people to get in touch to there might be people listening? Couple things. One, can you apply if you don't have a security guard license? And is there sort of a process that you can help expedite that for people?
Yeah, if you even looked at our careers page now on our website, there are a variety of different job postings. A lot of them, guards, armed guards, secure transport drivers. But there are also things like, we're advertising a head of security for a facility out in British Columbia. We're looking for parking enforcement, all types of things. So, do you have to be a guard? No. If you have a finance background, an HR background, a training background, there are all types of jobs that we look for at any given time. I think we've got something like 20 vacant positions right now, and they're not all guards. So you can get that through the website. You can get it through social media on pages like Indeed, etc.
Great to hear. I got to ask, as a CEO, are you good at sort of delegating, trusting your staff to do the hires, or do you micromanage? Because I would have difficulty with that, with a growing staff and that many people. I would want to know who everyone was. How's that going?
Yeah, I have to say it's pretty tough. People make the company successful at the end of the day, and trust has to go a long way. From somebody managing your payroll to giving someone body armor, a gun, and having them move $25 million in product from point A to point B. You got to be pretty comfortable with who you're hiring at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'd say. So you're listening to some of those big interviews. Then you're aware, or you trust the team. Okay.
Yeah, there's you bring in the people that you definitely trust, have known for years. Obviously best case scenarios, and you really you're involved in as much as. For me, I'm involved in as much as I can be when it comes to the hiring process and the final selection. We've got a very, I'd say, very diligent onboarding process from start to finish. So I definitely am part of that in many cases, for sure.
Thomas Gerstenecker, the CEO and founder of 360 Secure, 360secure.com. Again, their ticker symbol is SAFE. I always say on Twitter, just put $SAFE. You can read up and see where that takes you, or just Google the stock and the company. A bit of a military background in the past, Thomas. And when you're running a company, is there, one of the things I love about the military and the armed forces is sort of a hierarchy. And I often think, and sorry to vent here a little bit, but I look at entitlement amongst sort of I don't want to just say youth, and certain individuals, let's say, and that's one place that won't stand for entitlement. You respect the hierarchy, you earn your stripes, all that kind of stuff. Do you use some of that background to run the company in terms of respecting again that hierarchy and having people understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know there are different models on how reporting works. I definitely lean on my experience back in the military and also with United Nations for 15 years on what we feel or what I feel is an effective organizational structure, and not running yourself too thin across the board and having too many people report to you. But yeah, I mean, I think effectively and being as efficient as possible, there needs to be some structure there with rules and a hierarchy for sure. Certainly not as perhaps strict as a military environment for sure, but it comes with very team oriented, but at the end of the day, everybody still remembers who's in charge at various levels throughout the organization.
I mean, if I ever had a job with your company, I'd probably be like, man, I'd look at your background and your resume, and I would just make sure I kept it all the time. That's all I know. So let me ask about the company. And, we haven't spoken. I've spoken with a lot of the great members of your team, from Craig Bromell, who I absolutely admire and respect, and David Hyde. And you and I have had a bit of a sabbatical here. But some company updates. I would love to hear sort of the direction and some different changes or something that's evolved. What's going on with 360 Secure is with the long, it's the short of it, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I think from an operational point of view, I think before, we spoke last week, we hadn't been in the U.S. yet. So, our goal is to really gain the market share and be across Canada first and foremost. And there's still a whole lot of work for us to do in that space. But, as important is really being able to enter the U.S. market, and we're doing that now. We're in Nevada. We're providing security coverage for 1933 industries in Nevada and a number of dispensaries. And we've planted our flags also in Florida and Ohio, where we're doing a lot more business development at the moment. And yeah, I would say there's some really great things coming up in the next number of months. I think that'll be some really good news stories. And aside from that, I think as important as going out and generating that revenue, which we're doing recurring, I think also, we're continuing to enhance our controls internally, making sure we become more efficient, engaging with our board, with the executive team, which is going really well, and we're implementing ISO 9001 as well, as far as control measures and processes are concerned. So a lot of moving parts. People super busy, and next chapter. I mean, August 20th, next Tuesday, pre-market, we're coming out with our Q2 financials and an operational update, and it'll also provide a little bit of guidance on what's going on in the third quarter and beyond.
That's always a very exciting time for shareholders, old and new. The updates, the quarterly updates, the financial revenues, exactly, with sort of the future of the company. But I mean, basically, man, when you look at a company, one of the things I always tell people is management team, and we've talked about this before, but back to that job growth stuff. To me, that's such an obvious sign and this is just unbiased now reporting. This is just me as Todd Shapiro. When I invest in a lot of different companies. But when I see job growth, when I see job postings, that to me is a really wonderful sign. And not to harp on it too much, but it must feel great. Are you getting applications from all across Canada and now even from the United States for these jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely are. I mean, now we're, I would say, about 40 strong in Nevada. So we're getting applications from BC to Newfoundland, and in the various states that we're in right now as well. And it's always been important for me to also have a lean environment, meaning the management, all of the back office type of employment is very lean. And really, the bulk of the hiring are the guards that are out there, the armed individuals that are out there generating that revenue, which will, at the end of the day, make the company successful. As we head into the fourth quarter, where we expect to be profitable.
If you don't mind me asking, and I mean, feel free to just to say no, but a side note, we were doing a little landscaping on at the cottage today, as I was telling you, we're up there, and they had this big excavator come in here, and I'm like, my goodness, how much does that cost? And the individual said, these things are like $300,000 if you want to get them new, and it got me to thinking about like armed trucks and how that works, and the amount of money. I don't know, like, are those leased, are those bought? Like, how does that work for the company, and how much would something like that go? One of those, because I want to get one when the apocalypse comes, is what I'm getting at, Thomas.
Sure. It's a combination of owned, leased financial models that are out there for those. As far as the cost of one of these are concerned, it really depends on what it is, but it could range anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000, depending
Unreal.
on what it is. Yeah.
I'm like, you see these big rappers getting their Maybachs or whatever. I'm like, no, I want like an armed vehicle. Like that would be rolling up to a red carpet in style, Oh,
yeah. If you get something like these wicked, SUVs that are all armed up, I mean, those things can go well over $500,000.
Unreal. How much of your business is that actual executive protection? I know that's right on your website and stuff. Is that growing as well?
It is growing as well. I'm really fortunate to have this great network of my previous life in the special forces and working with all kinds of great guys, protecting all kinds of people in all kinds of places. And that is now also really ramping up for us. And I mean, again, whether it's doing some protection work in Toronto or traveling across the world with a high wealth or high risk individual.
Is there a little bit more of a fear these days than maybe days of past of we look at sort of shootings going on, we look at gun sort of illegal gun ownership. I don't know if it's you even call it ownership, just carrying illegal guns from a lot of just regular people who shouldn't be. Is there more heightened security and not paranoia, but just people being a bit afraid because of all the sort of not-so stuff going on, or has that always existed?
Yeah, no, I think it has increased. I think, the word terrorism is very relevant in this case because at the end of the day, they want to make sure that you are fearful. And I think there was something just after the last shooting in the U.S., similar scenario. There was a group of people, I think it was an event, some sort of celebration, and a sign fell over, made a loud bang, and somebody said, "I saw a gun," and everyone started racing away, trying to hide and really at the end of the day it was nothing. I don't think that would have happened 20 years ago, and I think you definitely see the sign of fear. People are getting quite afraid, and it's something that situational awareness at the end of the day really is something that everybody does already, crossing the street, getting in their car, driving down the road. They're situationally aware. What we can't get into is really being hyper aware or hyper vigilant because you end up becoming exhausted, you become paranoid, and that's not really where we want to go. But terrorists, that's what they feed on.
It's interesting having some family, and it's granted it's step family because it's my father's second wife, but she's from Israel, Thomas, and one of the things she sort of mentioned is that, Israelis actually just live their lives. They're sort of so used to the idea that there could be violence there, and there could be terrorist acts, or there could just be shootings or bombs, whatever it might be. Especially, a lot of that stuff has been going on for decades there, and
Right.
they just they leave their doors unlocked, and they drink their wine at night, and they share food with their neighbors, and just try to live in the moment more. So I think it's a really great point you make, that we can't be. And I'm already a paranoid enough guy. Like I said, I could never work for you, but it's a good lesson to hear that while we are a little bit more insecure about what is going around in the worldly events, we have companies such as yourself protecting people and understanding things, and of course, don't forget about our governments that are doing the same. But as well, you got to live your life too. Correct?
You do, 100%. You can't let life go by in fear of that. You just need to apply just basic security awareness practices, really.
Hey, just to be a baller, can I hire your company services just to go to a next big event? Really look like I'm something. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm all over it, and you don't even have to hire us. We'll just come and take care of you.
I want guys around me with those little earpieces. When that happens, that's how you know you've made it in life.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I do appreciate our candid catch-ups, Thomas, and I apologize. I am in a bit of vacation mode, so being a bit loosey-goosey today, and I appreciate everything your company is doing. We look forward to those quarterly results. Did you say was that on next Tuesday?
Yeah, pre-market, Tuesday morning, August 20.
Thank you so much.
See if we can supercharge that premium cost stock right now. Low, that is. It's the opportune time at this point.
I listen, and I couldn't concur more, and that is that I tell people, do your due diligence, and I think people will be very impressed with what they see. Hey, I'm still going to take you up on that ride along with you one day with your crew. We got to do something like that and video it. I would just be, when we're transporting millions of dollars of cannabis, that'd be the greatest.
Yeah, we will definitely figure something out. No doubt. I haven't forgotten.
Okay, cheers. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate talking to you and the rest of your team weekly. And please enjoy. We'll talk down the road very shortly. Thank you so much, Thomas Gerstenecker, everyone from 360 Secure, 360secure.com.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.